I think it's fair to say that anime would not be nearly as popular as it is without its community. Now, if you watch anime, a lot of you know that the communities honestly can sometimes make or break an anime. The communities for a lot of different shows can be really horrible or really amazing. Of course, in today's video, we're going to be looking at those communities and we're going to be ranking every single anime community, at least that I'm familiar with. These are shows that I have seen, so I can accurately rank whether these are true or not. I did a video like this a long time ago. It did really well. I'm pretty sick today, so I thought let's go back to it. I don't have to think too much. I kind of know my thoughts on most of these, so let's get straight into it. So first of all, here we have Golden Kamuy. Now, for me, I'm going to put Golden Kamuy straight away into decent. I haven't had any bad experiences with Golden Kamuy fans, but it's not like they're anything over the moon because they're not really that common. Even when I talk about Golden Kamuy, nobody ever talks about it at all. I could make TikToks about it. Nothing. When I did my anime review for Golden Kamuy, like, that was one of the least popular ones, and I don't get it because the show, like, numbers-wise, does pretty well, and I do see people talk about it somewhat, I guess, but I feel like the community just doesn't really do anything, so that's why I'd put them in decent. Next up, we have Gurren Lagann. I'd put Gurren Lagann in decent as well. I'm not necessarily going to rank them in the tiers either because, I mean, they're all going to be relatively close. But for Gurren Lagann, I'm going to put it in decent as well because there are very few fans in Gurren Lagann who are pretty insufferable. Not going to lie. Not most of them. Most of the people just like the shows and the characters, but there are some people that do like Gurren Lagann that I run into that are just extremely weird, I think, and basically it's their way or the highway, which is a lot of anime fans, but of course a lot of the lesser known ones or older ones don't really have that bad of a rep. And if you don't want to have a bad rep as well, please make sure to subscribe. You know, I upload anime videos 3 times a week. I have other links in the description as well if you are interested in hearing more from me about anime or anything like that. With that being said, we'll move on to JJK. This one is garbage. The JJK fandom is absolutely terrible. Now, I want to put it in 50-50 because the memes are hilarious, but I will be honest, JJK is a show ruined by its fan base. And I know a lot of you who like JJK or just like anime, you have definitely dealt with JJK fans before, and some of you may be thinking this could be a little harsh. My reasoning for putting it in garbage is because it is the pure definition of ruining the show. JJK fans love to spoil. It is literally the most spoiler-heavy fan base I've ever seen in my entire life. There was times where things were getting spoiled in the manga, which I'm not going to spoil you guys if you somehow missed it, and things were getting spoiled that weren't even going to come out for like 4 more chapters. Like, they were leaking the later chapters to spoil people. Like, the JJK fanbase genuinely has ruined the show for a lot of people, and it hasn't necessarily ruined it for me, but I'm not in a rush to watch it because I know everything that happens now, and it's honestly not really avoidable if you do have anime on your TikTok. I remember, if you guys know the big spoiler, I'm not going to say what it is on here. I was watching a Kagurabachi edit, and mid-edit, it just switched to that frame, that, you know, very famous frame that gets spoiled a lot, that still hasn't been animated, and so I had no choice but to see it, and I got spoiled on that, and I got spoiled on everything else in similar ways. They hide it. They purposely spoil you, so the fan base is garbage for that reason. They are pretty funny and stuff, but I can't excuse the fact that they spoil everything. Then we'll move on to One Punch Man. One Punch Man to me is kind of 50-50 because most of the fan base is like, okay, whatever. And then the other half of the fan base, I feel like if you were like a big fan of One Punch Man, I'm not going to lie, a lot of the bigger fans, like probably around half of them, that's why it goes into 50-50, kind of treat the show like it's something it's not. It is a decent show. It is funny. I like One Punch Man. But a lot of people treat the show like it's some masterpiece, and it's just far from it in every sense. It has good moments. It has good characters, sure. It is funny. But half of the fans that I deal with when it comes to One Punch Man, dude, they overrate this show so much. And I know that's not necessarily a bad thing towards the fan base. If you like a show, you like a show. But the reason I say it's bad is because they die on that hill. You've seen people, I'm sure everybody has, being like Saitama beats Goku, and they will die on that hill. And it's like, you're just delusional. So like, half of them are delusional, and they are unwilling to see any argument. Next is Solo Leveling. Oh, Solo Leveling is tough because if we're doing fan base, if we're being honest, because it has a lot of haters, but that's not a part of the fan base, I'm going to have to go mostly bad. And I would have put it in 50-50 before I saw a TikTok yesterday that absolutely infuriated me, and so it is a little bit recency bias, I'm putting it lower. But this guy was being genuinely so serious, by the way. He made a TikTok, and he was like, how am I supposed to watch anything after watching Solo Leveling? And at first I was like, right, that's a crazy take. Because he then followed that up with, I don't think there will be anything that's better than it. And I thought, at first I'm like, oh, he must not have seen anything. After that, he goes, oh, I've seen like Naruto, One Piece, Dragon Ball. Are you fucking insane? Like, that is like the One Punch Man thing that I just said, but scaled even higher. So, like, realistically, Solo Leveling should go 50-50 because it's similar to One Punch Man. Everything I said about that is the same. But because that one guy on TikTok, I'm putting it in mostly bad because you are fucking insane for actually thinking that Solo Leveling is the peak of peak. I like Solo Leveling a lot, and I think it's very good for what it has in it. I mean, it's one of the most simple shows out there, and it really captures people very well. But to say it's better than Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, you are smoking crack. That is crazy. Anyway, we're moving on to the Vinland Saga. I'm going to put it in 50-50 as well, for a little bit of different reasons. I think a lot of Vinland Saga fans are mostly chill, but there's also a good amount of them that get some superiority complex for liking Vinland Saga or feeling like they're going along this journey with Thorfinn. They're the type of guy, like, you get in an argument with them, and they'll be like, oh, I'm not, arguing is stupid. I have no enemies. Like, shut the fuck up. And there are genuinely a lot of people that are like that. I'm so serious. Those people are so cringe and so weird, bro. You are not Thorfinn, bro. I like the show, too, but you're not Thorfinn, gang. Like, I'm sorry. Next, we have the God of High School. I'm a massive God of High School fan. If you guys don't know, this is the only manga slash manhwa slash all of that. Or, no, I've finished other ones. I don't know why I said it's the only one I finished. But it is my favorite by far. I haven't read many. I probably read less than 10 manga. But the God of High School is absolutely my favorite. I love it. It is a top 10 anime manga for me. Anime I'm not a big fan of, but the manhwa is beautiful. And when I talk about the fan base, I'm not going to lie. I want to put it in W fan base because nowadays I feel like a lot of people really like it, but I'm going to put it in mostly bad, and it is because if you've read The God of High School, you know that whenever towards the later parts he talked about a lot of his process of writing it, and he got a fuck ton of hate, and I don't get it. The hate he was getting was ridiculous. He got a lot of love too, so, you know, maybe I'll put it in 50-50, and especially now a lot of people really like it. But man, he got a lot of hate for how... or not ending it in part 4, I think it was. Like, they were really mad he didn't end it in part 4, and he got a lot of hate where he was debating on quitting the story entirely, and that's fucked up, man. That's not a good fan base, but nowadays they are a lot better, and he did get a lot of love after that. A lot of people drew him, like, a bunch of amazing stuff and, like, sent him a bunch of letters thanking him, so I'll put it in 50-50, but it was really bad what they did to him. Next up, we have D. Gray, man. I'm putting it mostly bad because there's not many fans for this show. However, majority of them you meet is similar to One Punch Man, but not a 50-50 scale. It's like 80-20 scale. 80% of them are going to say, oh my god, D. Gray Man's awesome. It's peak this, and that. It's fucking not. And it's delusion, you know? I'm going to be honest. You can like D. Gray Man. That's totally fine. But to sit there and say it is like genuinely a phenomenal show is just wrong. It looks great in terms of design and everything like that. I will not take that away. The characters are phenomenal. The characters are some of the most two-dimensional characters personality-wise you will see in any anime. Most of them are so boring, have no personality, have no character development. They just look awesome. And I will say, they do look awesome. Then if you go story, the story is a knockoff Full Metal for majority of the show. It does change later on, but for majority of the show, it is just a knockoff Full Metal. So I would say mostly bad because these are a lot of delusional fans as well. Now I get, you know, you can like the show. I liked the first season a lot. I just really didn't like anything after. And then we have Devil May Cry. This is mostly bad as well because it's hard to say because you're taking this from a game. So a lot of the fan base is genuinely like haters, and you can't say they're not a part of the fan base because they like Devil May Cry. They just hate on the show. And to me, I don't get it. I've talked about this multiple times, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but I just don't understand people that want an exact copy from the game. There's literally no fucking point. Imagine you're a director of a show or something like that, and they come up to you and just be like, hey, just animate this. Like, I don't want you to change a single thing. Why would you ever say yes to that? There's nothing creative about that. There's nothing new about that. And why make something if it already exists? Especially Devil May Cry, the games themselves, if you like the game story, they are getting remakes. That has been officially announced. So I don't understand why people still bitch and complain that the anime is not exactly the same. It was never supposed to be. So yeah, and a lot of the fans for Devil May Cry say that shit, and it's annoying. Now, if you want to go anime fans, most of them, it would probably be W fan base because they're all pretty chill. But we'll move on to GTO. I think it's going to go into decent. And the reason why is because, I'm not going to lie, Onizuka's not a great person. I like Onizuka a lot. He's really funny. I think he's a great character. However, a lot of people really resonate with Onizuka, and he's kind of a piece of shit at times. Now, he's a great person at times as well. He's like a very, what's the word? Polarizing person. He has very good moments, very bad moments. This is about halfway through the show. At the beginning, you can cut him some slack because he learns to get better. But halfway through the show, he willingly goes into a advertised strip club of minors. Like, he genuinely is not a great person at times, and a lot of the fans like write that off and pretend that didn't happen because he does a lot of good things as well, but like, he's not a great guy. Alright, I'm just gonna say that. He has his ups and he has his downs. It is a great show, but some of the fans be going a little crazy with how much they relate to him. Next up though, we have Death Note. I'm gonna say it's 50-50. This is another one that's like, I don't want to call it delusion because Death Note is phenomenal for the most part. But I think a lot of people just pretend the back half of Death Note doesn't happen. Like, a lot of the Death Note fans I talk to, they would never mention Nier at all. Nier never gets mentioned in the conversation. It's L Light, L Light, L Light, L Light, and rightfully so. L versus Light is genuinely, arguably the greatest rivalry in all of anime. But everything after that is really not that great. I'm gonna be honest. And like, they pretend it's not there, and I get it. I mean, so that's why I could move it up because I also pretend it's not there. But if we're being honest, bro, there's a lot of delusional people with Death Note. I mean, and it makes sense though. Next we have Fire Force. Fire Force is tough because if you're actually a fan of the show, I feel like you're normally pretty good. Like, I think it gets a lot of unwarranted hate. Like, the shit with Tamaki, in my opinion, is just dumb as fuck. There is way more fan service in almost every single anime on here. Like, I'm not even joking. Over half of these other anime on here have more fan service than Fire Force, and people still complain about Tamaki. It is stupid. But I have no complaints from their fan base. I'm honestly going to put it in W fan base because the haters are not a part of the fan base, and the people that actually like the show are very chill. I've never actually got into any like bad argument or seen anything cringe or toxic from Fire Force fans. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen that, and I upload anime TikToks literally daily, and I talked about Fire Force a lot, so I would have expected to see a lot, but I haven't. Like, a lot of people, you know, are very respectful in the Fire Force community, at least from what I see. Then we move on to Ippo. This is another W fan base. I mean, again, this similar to Fire Force, never met a bad Ippo fan. For ones that are going to be like that, a lot of the W fan base, unless if it's like a really, really special, I'm just going to say that and move on. Next we have Death Parade. This is another one that not many people really like. I have not really interacted with many people. I can't put a W. No, I'm gonna put a W fan base because, I'll be honest, I don't think I've interacted with a single Death Parade fan, even though I have expressed my love for the show a lot. It is really phenomenal. I don't think I've ever got comments about Death Parade. I'll keep it a buck. So I guess, but it feels wrong putting them in W fan base if it doesn't really have a fan base. So I'm gonna move it to decent, but like, I don't know. They're not good or bad. Next we have Ghost in the Shell. I'm gonna be honest, mostly bad. This is because Ghost in the Shell has so many different variations. I love the movie. I bought the manga without knowing that the movie was way different from the manga. The manga's okay, but the movie is a million times better. And so it really just depends. Like, so many arguments happen in Ghost in the Shell because there's so many different versions. You got the manga, which is way different from the movie, which is way different from SAC, which is way different from the live action. Like, there's so many different Ghost in the Shell variants that it always causes arguments on which one's the best. The original movie, by far, a million times better than the manga. It's a million times better than every other version. I'm being honest. The original movie is phenomenal. SAC is decent. From what I've seen of it, I haven't seen much of it, but it's decent. Live action's cool too, but the original and the new, I haven't seen the new remake, but I know it's like pretty one-to-one to the manga, and I literally bought the manga. It is sitting right back there. I don't know if you can see it. I bought the whole box set for it. Still love Ghost in the Shell. The manga is decent. I will read it all. The movie's way better. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, a lot of arguments. Next we have Cyberpunk. I'm gonna put it in 50-50. This is another one that I don't want to call him it's not delusional. It's more like, if you don't agree, like, you're wrong. I always say the Cyberpunk ending is super overrated. I do think it's good, but I think it's overrated because it's often misinterpreted. A lot of people like genuinely feel bad for David. How could you feel bad for him? Like, I think that's such a big misinterpretation. He did all of this to himself. Like, literally all of it was his fault. Like, so I don't understand how people feel bad for that. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. The world sucks in Cyberpunk or whatever, but to me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like the ending is a little bit more misinterpreted, but that's not the point here. The point is that if you don't say Cyberpunk is like amazing to a lot of the fans for it, they will genuinely like try to crucify you and like absolutely hate you. And I think it's a little ridiculous because like people like different things. Obviously, you're allowed to like what you like, but then the other half are pretty chill because the show's pretty good and people like it. Next we have Psyche K. I haven't really interacted with many people, so I'll just put it in decent. I haven't interacted with many of those fans. Skate to Infinity, this is a garbage fan base. Garbage show and garbage fan base. Every time I talk about this show, I do talk about that I don't like it. And I don't talk about it much because I don't like spreading negativity that much, but I genuinely hate this show. I thought it was horrible. I thought there's one good character. I thought the story premise was stupid. There's a lot wrong with it, right? Anytime I talk about it and share my opinion, I think there's a lot of every negative thing that I said before. A lot of delusion. I'll be honest, there is nothing about this show that makes it special. Even if you like it, there is nothing special about it whatsoever. And I think a lot of people pretend like it is, and a lot of people try to tell me that like I didn't watch the show, even though the show is just fucking terrible. I will be honest, it's not good. The story makes no sense. It is so dumb. There's so many things. I don't like it at all, so I think it's a lot of delusion coming from them. And also, I say I don't like Skate the Infinity, and for some reason, you know, I get a lot of hate just for that. I'm not even saying, like, obviously in the more extended stuff, I getting hate when I'm giving more of my opinion, being like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But there's times when I say, I just don't like it. And I get a lot of hate for that, and it's like, huh? Like, how do I get it? It's not good. Like, in my opinion, it's not good. And again, it's similar to the Cyberpunk one, like, half of them hating. It's like, bro, people like different things, but Skate the Infinity fans can't understand that. I think it's because their show does get a lot of hate, that, like, they feel like they have to protect it, but it gets a lot of hate for a reason, in my opinion. Next we move on to Boruto. If we're talking about actual fan base, it is garbage because people defend the original Boruto. It's shit. It's fucking terrible, okay? And Naruto's my favorite anime ever. Boruto fan base, the people defending it sucks, okay? Twin Blue Vortex, I've read quite a lot of it so far. That shit's peak. That's gonna be fire when that gets animated. This, trash. And it's a bunch of delusion, arguing, and people, yeah, it's a whole bunch of shit. We'll move on to Sword Art, though. And honestly, I would actually say Sword Art's a W fan base. I think Sword Art's a show that gets a lot of hate, especially from me. I don't like Sword Art at all. And even though I say I don't like it, the Sword Art fans are normally pretty accepting that. They're like, oh, I get why you don't like it. Or like, you know, that's fine or whatever. You know, people have different taste. I think they actually, you know, have a pretty good outlook on things, being like, I personally don't really like Sword Art. I don't hate the show, but I personally don't really like it because Season 2 ruined the show for me. And whenever I say that, Sword Art fans are like, oh, you know, that's fine. People have different tastes. So I would say W fan base. You know, they can take criticism. They don't feel the need to die for their show. Blue Exorcist, I'm not going to lie, I never interacted with any Blue Exorcist fans, so it goes into decent. My Hero, everybody knows this is going garbage. Like, they brought the shipping community to anime. It is fucking terrible. There was genuinely people that were mad that Bakugo and Deku didn't end up together, even though it has been explained throughout the entire show. I mean, I guess they never explained Bakugo, but Deku, the one that everybody thinks is gay, it is literally explicitly stated throughout the entirety of the show that he likes women. That has been a theme in the show since episode, 1? Or when did he meet Ochako? Episode 2? Like, that has been the thing since the very first episode. And people, like, the My Hero fan base is just stupid as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. They just make up these own delusions in their head to write their own fantasies about kids, by the way. It's just fucking weird. Their fan base is horrible. And it sucks because My Hero is genuinely an amazing show. It seriously is one of the greatest anime ever. But the fan base is horrible. And it has ruined it for a lot of people. A lot of people stop My Hero because of the fan base. Mob Psycho, this is another W fans. I feel like a lot of them are very positive, very supportive. You don't get a lot of hate. You don't get a lot of arguing from them. But they like to, you know, have funny memes and stuff. And whenever you talk about the show, that they just, even if you don't like the show, they'll be like, they'll just post a meme of Mob. You know, they're not going to hate on you or anything like that. So I'd say W fan base for Mob. Then we have Bungo. Bungo's 50-50 because honestly, it suffers from a kind of My Hero fan base. I feel like a lot of people in Bungo are kind of more normal and more W fans, if anything. But the reason it goes into 50-50 is because you're getting two big ends. Like, half of them are like real W fans. Like, they're super respectful, super cool, love to talk about the show. And the other half are garbage, constantly shipping dudes together, making the most cringiest edits of Dazai you will ever see. Like, everybody knows Dazai's the best character in Bungo. It's probably not even up for debate. He's probably the best character in Bungo. They make that shit so cringe, and it's terrible. For such a likable character, they make him really unlikable. So yeah, it has a really bad rep in terms of, it has a little bit of a My Hero fan base, and then it also has a really respectable fan base, so 50-50. Doraemon, this is literally just going to go, actually I'm putting in 50-50 because mostly kids, so yeah. Black Clover, the actual fans of Black Clover, I would say are decent. You do have some toxic Black Clover fans because it is a new-gen anime. And you'll find with majority new-gen anime, which there is some exceptions, obviously, as we see, a lot of new-gen anime carries toxicity because, people when they just start watching anime or are watching a lot of the new stuff, they feel like everything has to be compared because the way the internet is, talking about anime and stuff. So you do have some toxic fans, but I feel like for the most part, Black Clover fans are normally pretty chill. I mean, if you don't like Black Clover, they get it. The only thing, I'm a massive Black Clover fan. It's personally my third favorite anime ever. The only thing I will, die on for Black Clover is I don't understand how people hate Asta, because the reasoning I always see is, he screams a lot. That's just not fucking true. He just literally doesn't. I don't understand if we watch the same show, but that's the argument I got a lot. I remember my friend, he was like, oh yeah, I like Black Clover, but I don't really like Asta because he yells a lot. I watched the show. He doesn't yell any more than, any other shonen MC. I think that complaint is stupid, but that's besides the point. Next, we have Naruto. Naruto fanbase used to be really bad, but I think it's got a lot better now. So I think nowadays they're pretty decent, because I think a lot of Naruto fans, this is me, have really grown up. I never was a toxic Naruto fan back then. This was my first anime I ever watched, my favorite anime. I love Naruto so much. And I remember a lot of people back then were pretty toxic, but nowadays it's a Naruto fan. It's dude, when people tell me they don't like Naruto, that's fine. The only thing I don't get, and because I'm a very logical thinker and I'll do a lot of logistic stuff, I don't like Attack on Titan, but if you want to say Attack on Titan is a peak anime, I'm not going to disagree because statistically it is. But when I say that about Naruto, people disagree with me. I remember I had a TikTok where I said Naruto is better than Hunter x Hunter, which even if you disagree with that, that's not a crazy take. Statistically, since Naruto came out, it was the most watched anime in the world for 24 years straight. One Piece recently passed it. It was literally the most watched anime for 24 years straight. I'm sorry, bro. Statistically, that is a peak anime. And no hate to Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter's never done that. So, I think it's crazy when I say Naruto is my favorite, or I like Naruto more than something, because statistically, it is one of the greatest anime ever. So it's not crazy to say that stuff. That's the only thing I will die on. But next up, we have Baki. I think Baki fans are mostly bad. Before, I didn't think they were that bad, but nowadays, anytime I talk about Baki or you see things about Baki, it's just constant arguments and again, a lot of delusion. Baki is a funny show. Baki has a fun premise. Baki is not peak. It is not the greatest storytelling. It's not even the funniest show. It's not even the best fighting show. It's not the best anything, okay? It is a decent watch. It is fun. But the Baki fans will convince you it is the greatest thing to ever touch the earth. It is genuinely something out of this world, and it's just not. Next up, we have Code Geass. I'll be honest, they're decent. For the most part, a lot of them are very respectable, but you do have some people who are oh, you don't like Code Geass, or you don't think Code Geass is the best thing ever, you suck, your opinion's just wrong. And those people are just cringe and terrible, but Code Geass has a little pocket that is like that, and yeah. Next up, we have Fairy Tail. I'm not gonna lie, fanbase is also decent for Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is, I'm gonna be honest, a pretty mid show. Some of the arcs are fantastic, and some of the arcs are really, really bad. And I think a lot of the fans kind of accept that. I have a friend that's a big Fairy Tail fan, and he will even admit that, yeah, some of the arcs are not that great. He loves the show. He's caught up with the show. Every time a new episode drops, he watches it right away. And yeah, he even agrees that, yeah, some of the parts not good. And a lot of Fairy Tail fans that I see, they do agree that, they get that it's not for everybody at all times. There's a small percent of Fairy Tail fans that don't understand that and don't understand, differing people's opinions, which I know, again, people are probably going to argue that, that's every fan base, but it's really not. I've never seen anybody hate on somebody for not liking Mob Psych or really any of these shows. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a little different, but we'll move on to To Be Hero X. It's hard. I've never run into a bad fan of the show. I'm going to put it in W fan base because I haven't talked about this show much, but when I do, normally it's really fun conversations. The only thing I will say is people could say it's delusion, because I remember when it was coming out, it was the first 12 episodes or something like that are all rated above a 9. It's something ridiculous like that, and I was like, no way the show's that good. No, it is that good. It is that good. It is really good. And then when I talk about it with people, they have a lot of awesome theories to talk about for the next season. I'm like, dude, that's really great. So I think W fan base. Beyblade. Can't really think of any complaints for Beyblade, so I'm gonna put it in W fan base. I guess the only thing that you could argue to put in decent is that there's different versions of Beyblade, but I've never seen any Beyblade fans argue about it. Like if Burst is your favorite, I don't see people being like, oh, you like Burst? I don't. That doesn't happen really in the community, so I still say W fan base. Dragon Ball, I would say mostly bad. It's a similar situation to One Punch. Dragon Ball is obviously a better show than One Punch Man, but a lot of people with Dragon Ball have a lot of really heavy nostalgia on it, and Dragon Ball is really cool. I love Dragon Ball personally, but a lot of people, I don't want to say overrate it, but they overvalue it whenever you're talking about anime. A lot of people are like, Goku solos, Goku wins this, Goku wins that. You know, a lot of power scalers come from Dragon Ball, and it's really freaking annoying. So that's why I say mostly bad, but there are a good pocket of Dragon Ball fans that do just enjoy the show and just enjoy talking about it. Next up, we have Chainsaw Man. I'm going to put it in mostly bad as well. They have really cringe memes. They like to spoil as well a lot on Chainsaw Man. A lot of them are really freaky and really weird. You know, I'm convincing myself to move it to garbage. A lot of them are also just really weird and really freaky and idolize the strangest shit in Chainsaw Man. Because a lot of the characters, I don't want to say suck, but are really bad people, and people like idolize them. I'm not saying they think they're good characters. I think some of the characters in Chainsaw Man are really good. But these characters get idolized for being pieces of shit, and it's crazy. Really weird fan base. Definitely garbage. Next we have Trigun. This is 50-50 because if you're a fan of the old Trigun, you're cool as fuck. If you're a fan of the new Trigun, I just genuinely do not understand you whatsoever. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And anytime you talk about the new Trigun fans, with that being said, no disrespect to them, they hate on it. They hate on you if you don't like the new one, which I think is crazy. They're like, oh, you just don't like the new way he looks. No shit, I don't like the new way he looks, because that ain't Vash, dude. That's Vag. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, bro. Like, seriously. Every single person in the new Trigun looks fucking terrible, other than Nicholas. Even, like, Meryl, you know, the love interest for Vash. Dude, she looks 12 in the new one. Like, it looks fucked up. Like, in the original, she looks like an adult. Like, she is a small woman, which is the point, because she's supposed to be small compared to Vash. But she still looks like a grown woman. And in the new one, she looks like a little girl. Like, there's a lot wrong with the new Trigun, honestly. Like, if we're just speaking honest here. But that's not why they're bad. They're bad because they try to convince you that, like, you need to like it. And that's just... Then move on to Fate Zero. I'm not gonna lie, Fate fans are pretty garbage. Because Fate fans, this is like, dude, if you don't agree with their exact opinion on Fate, they don't fucking like you. They're gonna hate on you. They're gonna talk shit. Like, I'll sit there and be like, I don't really like Saber from Fate Zero. If somebody likes Saber from Fate Zero and they're a Fate fan, they're going to go in on me for no fucking reason. Just because I don't like the Saber in Fate Zero. Fate fans are really weird. Fate has a lot of shows too, so you get a lot of arguing within the community. Fate has a lot of different versions of the same characters, so you get a lot of hate in the community with that. I mean, overall, it's just garbage, but honestly, a lot of it is kind of bred by what the show is. It's so much different shit put together that it's just going to cause a bunch of hate because there's so many different communities kind of in one. And then they don't help themselves either when they get online. Next, you have Dr. Stone. I don't want to say they're a bad community. I'd put them in a decent community. I'm not a big fan of the show. There are some Dr. Stone fans who don't really get why I don't like the show, but I feel like it's really easy to understand. So I guess that's why I'll put it in decent, because I had have some people try to argue with me, and it's like, I just personally don't find Dr. Stone that funny, and I don't like how half of the episodes, or like half of each episode, is dedicated to them being funny, and I don't find them funny. I feel like that's a pretty valid reason to not like the show. I don't find it funny, and it tries to be a comedy anime, so that's why I don't really like it. And most people get that. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty valid reason. And so most of them are pretty chill, but there are a select few who just, I guess, can't understand that. Rave Master, just gonna go decent, I guess. Never heard anybody talk about it. Pluto, literally never heard anybody talk about it. So I'm gonna go decent. Cowboy Bebop, oh, I can't think of anything bad about him, so I'm gonna put him in W fan base. Can't think of a bad thing. Erased, can't think of a bad thing either, honestly. Pretty solid fan base. Kill la Kill, as much as I'm like, I don't want to say not a big fan of the show. I think the show is good, but as much as like I don't appreciate the show as much as others, I can't think of anything bad about him. I think a lot of Kill la Kill fans are pretty cool. Monster fans are mostly bad. If you don't say Monster is peak, which I do think Monster is good, I honestly wouldn't call it peak, though. I do think it's good. I think it has a really great story. The story's peak, but the anime in general is not that peak. My reasoning is because the pacing is really shit in the first half, and a lot of Monster fans, I've said that. I said the pacing is bad, and I've gave multiple reasons on it. I think I talked about it in the video about all the anime I dropped and why, so if you want to hear the full reason, go watch that. But with Monster, I don't really like the pacing, and a lot of the fans are being like, oh, it's not slow, you just don't understand it. And, like, that's not fucking true. I obviously get what's going on. It's just so slow at times. And I've interacted with some fans, especially recently. This would have gone garbage if I haven't interacted with these fans recently, but some of them were like, oh, it is pretty slow at the start. And I get why people would think it's slow. I mean, personally, they'd be like, oh, personally, I enjoyed it at the start, but I get why people would think it's slow. But trust me, you're almost through that slow part, and then things are going to get really, really good. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's actually nice to have a conversation, because most of the time when I talk about Monster, I do mention that, like, I do think it's slow. I think it's great, but I think it's slow. And so a lot of times I mention that, and they ignore the part of me saying it's a good show, of me saying it has really great characters, of me saying it has one of the greatest villains ever. They ignore all of that because I said the show is slow, and then call me an idiot because, oh, it's not slow, you just don't get it. And I've experienced that way more than I've experienced real conversations with Monster fans, so that's why I guess I'm mostly bad. Tokyo Revengers, I just never see any of those. Full Metal fans, I'm going to put in decent, because Full Metal, to me, is arguably a perfect anime. It's not my favorite anime, and I think a lot of Full Metal fans would agree that it is arguably perfect, but that doesn't mean you be a dick to people that, maybe don't like Full Metal or haven't seen it. Like, there are a pocket of Full Metal fans that I'm not even going to say hate on people that haven't seen it. Or that have seen it and just maybe don't like it. They hate on people that just haven't watched it yet. Like, dude, let the people get to it. Like, holy shit. Like, they don't need to watch everything you like right away. And there are genuine Full Metal fans that I will see get pissed at people for not watching Full Metal yet. It's like, bro, like, they get actually mad. So if it weren't for those select few, I'd put it in W Fanbase, but those fans do exist. Then we have Slayers. I'll be honest, can't think of anything bad. W Fanbase. Samurai Champloo, I'm going to say decent because there are some delusional fans. I think a lot of people watch Samurai Champloo. They really like it. It's really cool, or whatever. It's got a really nice story, and they move on. But there's some Samurai Champloo fans that I see that, like, genuinely believe this show is, like, the greatest thing ever. And I just seriously don't understand how you could watch that and get that impression from this. Like, there's literally no... It's not even the best show from this universe. Cowboy Bebop, way better than Samurai Champloo. I'm sorry, Samurai Champloo is peak for sure, but Cowboy Bebop is way better than Samurai Champloo, and it's in the same universe, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think some of them are a little delusional, but it's definitely a good fan base. Soul Eater, I would say W fan base in general. I don't like the anime ending, and I've been very expressant of that whenever I talk about Soul Eater, and a lot of them do agree with me, and even the ones that don't are like, oh, well, you got to try the manga. The manga one's way different, so you might like it, and normally they're very helpful, so I'd say that. Undead Unluck, I haven't experienced any of these. I'm going to put them in decent. Shaman King, it's going to be similar to D-Gray Man. Although not many people talk about Shaman King. Like, those are both niche shows for sure. But more people definitely talk about D-Gray Man. I've seen very little about Shaman King, and I tried it. I thought the show was terrible. So to the few people that I've seen say the show is good, you're just lying. Elusive Samurai, if you like the show, you're part of the problem. The worst show I've ever seen in my entire life. And I made a video on that, so I'm not going to explain. Mashle fans, I'm going to say, are decent because they do have a cringe fan base as well at times. What show did we talk about that was like that earlier? That's some of them, like Bungo. It's not as big. It's not like 50-50, but like most of the fan base of Mashle is really cool. And then you do have a really cringe fan base, kind of similar to Bungo, where they make the characters just look horrible. Assassination Classroom, I would say decent. Don't run into many fans of that. Pokemon, this is literally 50-50. You could run into a Discord mod, or you can run into an awesome person who's willing to talk about like the coolest Pokemon out there. So yeah, 50-50. Tsukimichi, they're pretty decent, not gonna lie. The Fable, never ran into a single Fable fan. Bleach fans are mostly bad, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's like I don't want to call it superiority thing, but I think it's like wanting to be better than Naruto and One Piece, because if we look at things statistically, Bleach is way less successful than Naruto and One Piece pretty easily. And so I think it's a superior, like wanting to feel superior for a lot of Bleach fans, because there's a lot of issues with Bleach. I'm not saying there's not a lot of issues with Naruto and One Piece. They definitely have issues too. But there's a lot of issues with Bleach, and I've run into a lot of Bleach fans that will just straight up tell you you're an idiot by thinking you find something wrong with the show. And I'm being serious. I ran into a lot of people that are like that. And Bleach definitely has issues. It's not a perfect anime, but the fans try to say it is. Like I said, I think it's because they want to be known as the best in the big three, but it doesn't help when you're just acting like a dick, pretending like there's nothing wrong with your show. I run into a lot of Bleach fans like that. Next we have Sunny Boy, never ran into a single fan. Next we have Maggie. They're I mean, I can't think of anything wrong with them. I ran into a lot of Maggie fans. They're pretty cool. Sword of the Stranger, I'm going to have to put in mostly bad, because I haven't ran into many fans of this movie. However, watched this movie with my friends. It's not a bad movie. However, the way the fan base talks about this movie, you thought this shit would have been peak. It's not. It's okay. It's like, I'd describe it as watchable. It's not a movie I'd like want to turn off. Like, I am interested in seeing the end of the movie for sure. But there's nothing peak about it. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a original story. It's not a unique story. No real unique characters. It's very predictable. Not even like crazy animation. Not crazy music. The emotion in it is decent. That's probably the best part, and I think that's why a lot of people like it, because it has really good emotional moments in it. But other than that, there's nothing special about it at all. Demon Slayer fans, I would say 50-50. There's really good Demon Slayer fans and really bad ones. I mean, it's a lot of starter animes for a lot of new people. So, yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, I feel like. One Piece, I like One Piece a lot. We're going to go 50-50 here because One Piece is such a popular anime that, like, it's probably the most popular anime in the world right now. I wouldn't say of all time. I would still say Naruto or Dragon Ball is definitely more popular all time. But if we're talking about right now, I'd definitely say One Piece is the most popular anime in the world right now. And so you're going to have a lot of everything. That's the big reason it goes into 50-50. You have really cool fans that want to talk about theories all day, which is awesome. And you have really bad fans that just want to say bullshit, either about the show or about other shows because they like One Piece so much. So yeah, 50-50 is easy. JoJo's is garbage. JoJo's is my second favorite anime of all time. And the fan base is fucking horrendous. I don't think I've ever had a good conversation with other JoJo fans outside of my friends. Whenever you talk about JoJo's, whether it be good or bad, it's never good enough. I can sit here and say, oh, JoJo's is a phenomenal anime. It's my top 2. That's not good enough. It's not my number 1, then I'm fucking wrong. Like, JoJo fans are genuinely the most toxic fan base. Like, it competes for the worst fan base of all time with, like, JJK or My Hero. Those are probably the bottom 3, if I'm being honest. Their fan base is fucking horrid. They are so toxic. And they also have a shipping community like My Hero, which is stupid as well. Next, we have Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter fans, I would say, are pretty decent. But yeah, we talked about the stuff with Naruto, so that's why it goes into decent, because you do have that pocket of Hunter x Hunter fans that are just hateful for no reason for a show that hasn't got another episode in how many years. Doesn't make sense. Yu Yu Hakusho fans, W fan base. Never ran into a bad one of those. Rurouni Kenshin fans, there's not really many of them, but I just put them in 50-50 because, I mean, they're not a decent fan base, but they're not a bad fan base, so I'm just going to put them in the middle. They're just pretty mid. Windbreaker, I would say 50-50 because, I'll put them in decent, actually. They're not bad, but you do have some of them that overglaze the show and are willing to die for it, and I think that's crazy. It's not all that. Lastly, we have Attack on Titan. I'm going to say mostly bad. More specifically, a lot of Attack on Titan fans recently, and I think this is a thing you will notice, is a lot of the, like, more worse fan bases, I guess, are current really popular anime. Because I'm not going to lie, when Attack on Titan was still coming out, it would have been in garbage pretty easily. But now that the show's ended, it started to get better. I think in 10 years, the Attack on Titan fan base will actually be great. But I've talked about it before. I don't like Attack on Titan because I don't like Titans. And I think that's a pretty fair reason if I don't like the whole concept of the show. I just wanted to give it a try because people love it so much. I didn't like Titans going into it. I didn't like Titans coming out of it. So not a big fan of it for that reason. And I feel like that's pretty fair if you don't like the entire point of a show. Like, you're not really going to like the show. And, you know, that's more accepted now. But when I used to say that like 2-3 years ago, I'd get nothing but hate. And I just don't get it because I'm not saying the show's bad. I'm just saying why I don't like it. And I don't like it because I don't like Titan. I feel like that's pretty fair. It'd be like with, let's say, To Be Hero X. I have it in W fan base. If you said, oh, I don't like To Be Hero X because I don't like superheroes. That makes perfect sense, dude. Like, the show is amazing, and I think it is possible to still like it without liking superheroes, but if you don't want to watch the show or you drop the show because you don't like superheroes, that makes a fuck ton of sense. Like, that totally makes sense. But with that being said, this is the whole list here. If you enjoyed, I hope you leave a like, subscribe. Again, I upload anime videos 3 times a week. Let me know what the best and worst anime fan base is in your opinion. I'll see you guys in another video. I am so exhausted. I'm gonna dip. Peace.